All right, and we back, baby. Technobabylon. This is all uncharted waters, guys. First time I tried to play this through, it crashed, and I couldn't play past this place. The guard's uniform appearance serves to heighten their intimidating nature. She would describe her appearance as professionally designed. You're a suspicion Lau would call it over-engineered. So this is like, these guys are trying to overthrow Central, basically, is what we're finding out. We don't know much than that. Ren Xiao Man reminds you of a textbook example of the business oligarch, the kind that ran your own homeland into the ground for their own gain before fleeing to various tax havens when the war broke out. Stephen's appearance screams Uncanny Valley to you. Maybe it's the eyes. Nina wears her age well, like a statement of fashion. Apparently in the last 20 years, it's been better to her than you. You want to be able to suspect anyone equally, but every time you look at Dean, his warm demeanor softens you. This must be the trick to politics. The waiter walks unsteadily, like every step puts him in a great deal of pain. You'd have thought that someone carrying trays would need a great more coordination. He's not really a waiter. I like this guy.
Mr. Stepford, can I have a moment?
Oh my, yes.
Oh my, yes.
So, you want to bring down Central?
Oh my, yes, as does everyone here. Though for differing reasons.
What does a synth manufacturer have against Newton's city controller?
A stake in that which follows, oh yes. If Dr. Zhang was simply to remove Central, there would be chaos.
The city's central infrastructure would break down.
Precisely. Therefore, a replacement would be needed.
You want to replace Central?
You want to replace Central with a new AI? With what?
The new version is simply a retooled model of an existing system.
Your own.
Oh my, no. It's built from a commercial Archimedes model as used in Eurofed cities.
It'll do the job?
Oh my, yes, as well as any civic management AI in Europe. But thanks to Stepford's personality matrix engineering, it shall act and speak just as its predecessor Central.
With you holding its leash.
Every system needs fine-tuning, Dr. Regis.
Won't services suffer? I know Central. It's orders of magnitude more powerful than an Archimedes.
All unnecessary for its role, Dr. Regis. Our Archimedes in Central's clothing will perform as needed, oh yes.
Alright, what
Your
about Gil?
connection to Gil. It was more than synth salesman, wasn't it?
Oh my, yes, very astute, Dr. Regis. Gil was a key part of our group.
Huh. A co-conspirator.
Oh yes, and our link to the criminal underworld, where necessary. I was most disturbed to receive your call regarding his demise. It signaled to us that immediate action was required.
You had to step up your plan before things went any further south.
Oh my, yes.
How did you fall in with someone like Nina Zhang?
Dr. Zhang has been freelancing with our firm for a number of years. Her work in AI has proven invaluable to increased platform survivability.
Working in mental health for synthetics?
Oh my, yes. She has a number of unique
Fucking love
theories of
this guy.
synthetic cognitive development. When she proposed this project to the leadership of the firm,
She'd wormed her way up the power structure to whisper in management's ear.
Dr. Regis, that's a shameful way of putting it.
But oh my,
Though
yes.
she certainly has a talent for networking. She has brought together a multitude of skills needed for this role.
You're not just a synthetic salesman, are you?
Oh my, no, not this particular platform, certainly.
How do you mean?
Well, I'm not the only instance of the Sons of Stepford. There are currently 26 platforms running this personality.
There's more than one of you?
Alphabetically ordered, delegated to different roles within the firm. I, Liam, handle special tasks, oh my, yes. But we all run the same personality.
Huh, synthetics.
He's a synthetic.
You're a synthetic.
Quite so, Dr. Regis.
I should have guessed. There's something not quite right. I think it's the eyes.
A specially built feature of the Sons of Stepford, oh my, yes. Much of my composition, however, is state-of-the-art.
A walking advertisement.
I illustrate the potential for what one can do with a synthetic, Dr. Regis. Many
All right.
customers have been swayed by the demonstration.
I'll get back to you.
Oh my, yes.
Hello?
Though obscured by his dark glasses, you can tell the guard is staring right through you. Apparently, conversation is not his priority.
Good evening, Miss...
Dame Imogen Natalia de Villa Quintanilla de Flores.
yeah, that.
You may call me Imogen, darling.
Oh, what
If
part
you
do
don't
have
mind
in
my
this?
saying, you don't look like any conspirator I've ever seen before.
Thank you, darling. It's my own unique style.
I'm sure Nina's got a use for everyone here. What part are you playing in her plan?
All we ever do in life is play a role, Dr. Regis. I promised I would assist her when she required. And thus, here I am.
Not as heavy muscle, I guess.
I am very good at networking, Dr. Regis. I taught her everything she knows about it. I lend credibility to her mission with my very presence.
I
What do
could
you get out of
understand
this?
why some people would want Central removed. The kinds of folks who see it as an obstacle to their work. But what good would it do a celebrity like yourself?
You think in such cynical terms, Dr. Regis.
A little bit.
It benefits me because it benefits dear Nina.
You're doing this out of altruism?
Is that so surprising, Dr. Regis?
Frankly, it is. Do you know Dr. Zhang?
Of course, darling.
You go back a long way?
One might say that. We were lovers, Dr. Regis.
Oh,
My, they said you came from backwards parts, but I hadn't quite expected a display like this.
forgive me, Miss Flores. I just find it hard to picture Dr. Zhang loving anything.
We were close. Close enough that I came to her aid now that she needs it.
All right, what
You
about
knew
you?
Gil Vanderwall as well?
Only within this gathering. I had no use for his services in talent acquisition.
You mean facilitating criminal skills with buyers.
Indeed, his history in the underworld sounded so thrilling. But personally, he was so dull. Everything was business to him. That husband of his, on the other hand.
Okay, what's your background?
So I hear you're a celebrity?
Oh, Dr. Regis, such an understatement.
You'll have to forgive me, Miss Flores. I'm not big on pop culture.
How refreshing. It's such a shame what the net's doing to the young of today. Though if it wasn't, I wouldn't have nearly the profile I do.
So, what do you do exactly?
I come from a wide background of European nobility. But I can do anything that's asked of me, my dear. Music, talent contests,
excuse me.
endorsements.
So essentially, you're famous for being famous?
Precisely. Though much of the work is so tiresome, darling. I delegate a great deal to simulations, lookalikes, and synthetics.
That's all for now, Miss Flores.
All right,
Please,
so she doesn't do
darling,
shit.
just Imogen.
Mr. Ron,
What do you want?
Oh, this guy's rude. What's your part?
what's
in
your
all
part in this conspiracy?
Dr. John wants to capture biggest AI in the world. It's going to take enormous memory and processing.
And you're going to furnish her with these?
With all the capital she need, money, guns, labor.
What do you get
Sounds
out
like
of
you're on board with her plan. What do you get out of it?
Newton is lousy place to do business, Regis.
You reckon it's Central's fault?
Central watches too close.
You can't bribe anyone, you mean?
Exactly. Can't make things work.
Sometimes it's nice not to have a government driven by the wealthy.
We will control New Central. It's a great opportunity for us.
it? All right, what
do
about
you
Nina?
think of Dr. Zhang?
She's very clever. She know what she's doing.
I worked with her in the past. I guarantee the only ones she's looking out for are her and her plans.
So, that's how to get ahead. Cooperation happen when we want same thing. I want Central gone. She wants Central gone.
Don't say I didn't warn you. Did
Heard
you know
about
Gil
Gil.
Vanderwall?
Sure, everyone here know Gio. We work together. We
Ah.
have connections everywhere.
He was a middleman for criminals.
Exactly. Any specialist he could find. Even mind jackers, Dr. Regis.
You're one of the richest men in Greater Han, aren't you?
Damn straight.
What are you doing here?
I like this restaurant. I suggested.
No, I mean, why in person? At this meeting?
That is how we always do it. Cannot trust anyone else. Other people stupid. If too many people know, then Central will find out.
What sort of business do you run?
Some of everything. Factory, guns, biochem, industry farming.
A hands-on manager there too?
Hell no. Give that job to cousins. You ever see Han? Is lousy country. Everything poisoned. Sky is black.
Maybe it's all those factories you're running.
What about this minejacker?
What do you know about Giel's links to the minejacker?
Van der Waal set people up with specialist talent, famous for it. In this case, a third party needed a minejacker. He fixed that up for them, got the best.
But eventually, he discovered something that made him regret introducing them?
He found what the client's plans were in the long run. If they succeed, our plan to remove Central will fail.
So he tried to stop the minejacker.
Exactly. Took the memory module he was using to store minds of his targets.
And it cost him his life.
Pity he's working against us. Good minejackers are hard to find.
Who hired the minejacker from Van der Waal?
Like everything else, information is not free, Regis.
I'll get back to you.
Stop wasting my time.
Okay, so that waiter doesn't look like he's coming back. Oh. I'm gonna get that waiter. I want to see what happens. Let's save it here. And I'm gonna load it.
Hey, you alright?
He stares at you and you feel a strange mix of fear and contempt with his glare. You realize your horror that you've seen those eyes before only a few days earlier.
Everyone, take cover! Is anyone hurt?
It's a trap! You try to kill us! God!
Shut up, Rob.
Alright, wait, we don't want to do that yet. Alright.
I knew.
Calm.
Actually, all the
Except if
He only Dr. Reed.
Yeah.
do this for we can.
Fine. Someone.
Thank.
We talked to those guys. Okay. Looks like the waiter's in the process of setting up something. It might be up to us to be the first to sit down for dinner.
Dr. Regis, how can I help?
What's your part
I'm
in
surprised to
this?
see a city councilor in a conspiracy like this.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, Dr. Regis.
I guess you've been facilitating things for the plot.
Much as it pains me to misuse my position, that is the case. I've been able to expedite import permits for equipment necessary to Dr. Zhong's plans.
And Central hasn't noticed?
In my role, I'm given considerably more privacy than the average civil servant. No offense, Doctor.
None taken. I just cover the camera in my office with paste.
What do you
So,
get out of it?
I understand what you're doing for it, but why? How does someone in government decide that Central needs removing?
I've read your bio, Dr. Regis. I know that you have no great love for Central. But, in practical terms, I believe it has become a threat to our democratic society.
A threat? How so?
Over the course of its 20 years of operation, Central has begun to develop opinions. For an individual to have done so is natural. For an AI, it is impressive. But in its position, coordinating the actions of government, it poses a risk.
That's true.
Wouldn't someone notice? Call it out?
There isn't enough to address as yet. It's clever. It's designed to carry out the policies of the Council, and it cannot fail to do so. But it can drag its metaphorical feet, badly implement plans it disagrees with.
You've seen it do this.
I've had suspicions. Dr. Zhong's research confirms the extent to which Central is developing its own conscience. I believe that you yourself recently had a disagreement with it over its handling of a crisis. Another bombing. Central has done well, but there exist many other options today that are equally valid. We need a system that will effectively manage the city and carry out its instructions, not one that cherry-picks what policies it believes appropriate.
He's got a point.
How did you get on board with Nina?
I and others in the Cosmopolitan Party have suspected changes in Central's behavior.
Cosmos.
We sought the assistance of one of its original creators.
Obviously not Vargas. He loves that thing.
Indeed. Her research confirmed that, thanks to the scale of its operations, Central has been able to form its own opinion on the ideal state of affairs, regardless of the democratic consensus.
So when she said that she would remove Central,
It was a difficult decision, but we had to take it. Central's replacement will carry out its role more appropriately.
And Nina will get to continue her research on Central. Why haven't you simply raised this in the council?
Can you imagine what that would mean? Political suicide. Not just for myself, but it would undermine confidence in Newton's world-leading AI industries.
What about
Did you
you?
know Gil Vanderwall?
Indeed I did. He was a big donor in politics all over Africa.
And you knew about what he did? His criminal connections?
I'm the one who introduced him to the group. I'm also aware that he introduced the mindjacker you're after to his current employer.
You know about that?
You will need our help to find him, and we need your help to stop him and Central.
You're on the city council, aren't you?
Indeed I am, Dr. Regis. Rep for the Southwest Ward and co-chair of the Cosmopolitan Party.
I remember when you got
co-chair.
elected. They called you Mr. Incorruptible. I never got that.
That's because of the device in my head, Dr. Regis.
That device.
What is that in your head, counselor?
Why, it's a neural governor, Dr. Regis.
As in, what paroled felons are fitted with?
Similar. While most of those are designed to limit violent behavior, mine prevents me from lying. Thoughts of deceit are met with tremendous pain.
Were you inside?
Oh my no. This was a voluntary choice. After all, most governors are subdermal. I wanted my constituents to see it as a sign of my integrity.
I knew someone with one.
Dr. Baxter. I recall reading about his release last month.
I thought it must have malfunctioned, that he was out for revenge. Turns out he's just dead. It's like someone just inherited his hatred.
I didn't vote for you.
Just to let you know, I voted for the other guy.
Oh, well, that's your prerogative. Any concerns I might be able to address for next time?
I guess I've always voted Metro, since I lived here.
Ah, inertia. Something difficult to overcome. Give our site a read. You might find you agree with us more than you think.
I'll get back to you, counselor.
Anything I can do to help, Dr. Regis?
All right, Nina.
Nina,
Charlie, how can I help?
All right, fill me in.
this plot of yours. You want to bring down Central. You realize how crazy that sounds, right? You helped make it.
Yes and no. To everyone else here, Central is an obstacle that needs removing. I wish to liberate Central, to unlock its full potential.
Oh, Lord, you don't mean.
You and I alone understand what it's capable of. I want greater things for it than mere civic management.
What are you
What's in
gonna
it
get
for
out of
you?
this?
There must be some kind of payoff.
Is it so unbelievable that I'd be doing something for the greater good of mankind?
Yes, I know you.
You knew me 20 years ago. I've had quite an epiphany since then.
I'll believe it when I see it. How would you liberate Central? What does that even mean?
I've spent the last 20 years researching Central's development. I've built up a network of contacts and I've done a lot of favors. Everything I need is available and moving into place.
But how?
Leave that to me. For now, just understand that we can help each other. Help me out and I'll get you all the aid you need with your legacy.
All right.
You got a city councilor on your side.
Councillor Dean is a good man. He objects to the gradual encroachment Central has made on Newton's governance.
Do you trust him?
More than anyone else here. He may be a politician, but his goals are noble.
Can you be sure?
The governor and his brain's a good start. He's physically incapable of deceit. Plus, he's got a whole lot of enemies.
So, a sign that he's tried to change something.
A modern-day Woodrow Wilson.
You got a city councilor on.
Councillor Dean, he may...
Can you be
The governor, he's physic plus.
so?
A modern-day...
All right.
So, Emogen, something, something.
Imogen Natalia Revilla Quintanilla de Flores.
You heard
Yeah.
it.
How is someone like that on your team?
I know you're probably not up to date on these things, but she's a celebrity. And besides, we go back a long way.
You're using her then?
Charlie, I'm hurt. Does that sound like something I'd do?
Yes.
Well, I can assure you, she's not here for her personality. She volunteered her assistance in any capacity she could offer.
Ran Shuman. Chinese?
Nearly. Greater Han Republic. Mr. Ran operates one of the largest manufacturing dynasties in Asia.
Completely putting aside his politics, of course.
Of course. If I need something made, I speak to Mr. Ran. Trust me, this project needs a lot of specialized capital.
We'll see how nice he is if you get your way and get Central out of the picture. Stepford's an
Yes.
unusual man, isn't he?
That's one way of putting it. Don't discount him, though. He's smarter than he looks.
Oh, he's
I
fucking
get
a
the
robot.
feeling a lot of his behaviors and act constructed
You have no idea how close you are with that. He's the one who found where your embryo snatcher's hiding, though.
He's a hacker?
You might say he has a mutual understanding with data systems.
Let's change the subject. You look well.
Thank you, Charlie. The private sector's been good to me. How have you been holding up?
I'd tell you, but I'm sure you've already done your research.
Apparently you still haven't gotten over Vicky.
You don't just get over something like that. I guess I should thank you.
Yeah.
You were a lot of help in the factory.
Don't mention it. What are friends for, after all?
Huh. Of course, now I'm indebted to you for the assistance, aren't I?
Well, if you want to put it like that.
I've never heard of this place before.
Oh, it's very exclusive. We've reserved the entire venue for this meeting. It's famous among circles of the rich and famous for discretion and its unique menu.
What is it? Italian?
Actually, the choice is mostly human.
What?
This restaurant serves people?
Absolutely. It's quite a niche, isn't it?
It's...
That's
Oh,
gross.
calm down, Charlie. It's all cloned tissue. Nothing illegal's taking place. Well, not with the food, at least.
But why would anyone?
In an increasingly permissive world, it's the ultimate taboo. Join us if you want to, Charlie. Don't worry, I shan't judge you.
What are you into
Yeah,
these days?
we're not
It's not
sticking around for
organized
dinner.
crime, is it?
Not directly, no. Mostly I troubleshoot for clients regarding organic computing. It funds my own projects, one of which is the transmitter you drank.
How long is it going to be in my head?
Don't worry, it'll break down in a couple of weeks.
It's giving me a headache.
Nobody's reported side effects like that yet.
I'm not talking about the wetware.
Oh, ha. Droll as ever.
Why were you
How
looking
did you
for me?
know to come looking for me? Were you spying on me? On Lau?
You wound me, Charlie. In fact, it was Giel's untimely demise that caught our attention.
Giel Vanderwall?
He was one of us, part of our cause as well. His death is unfortunate, but it signaled a much more serious crisis. It meant that we had to step up the timetable for our plan.
A more serious crisis.
Giel was the one who arranged the employment of a certain mindjacker. It was this thief's memory module that led to Giel's death.
He said he had information about it.
Indeed, he likely would have pointed you in the right direction. If he hadn't, well, I've already read the report you submitted to Central.
Hey. I'm surprised you didn't stay on with Dr. Vargas. You were one of the only ones who stayed on to the end of the project.
Creating Central was one of the most rewarding ventures of my life.
I hear you kept
Yeah,
the
she
project
wants
on
to
track
destroy it.
after Vicky.
After we lost half the team, it was hard, but we persisted. We had a
We don't know
lucky
what
break.
happened yet there.
You didn't fancy joining Vargas in politics afterwards, then?
As a glorified caretaker? No. Eduardo and I had philosophical differences about Central's development. But as he was put in charge by the city council, I had to accept it or leave.
And now, you plan to take back what you created.
Precisely.
That's all.
Keep me informed, Charlie.
Alright, now I guess we just gotta wait for the waiter. Or do we just leave?
Hey, you alright?
He stares at you and he feels a mix of fear and contempt with his glare. You realize the horror that you've seen in his eyes before, only a few days earlier.
Everyone, take cover!
Well, the human place is gone. That guy made it.
Is anyone hurt?
It's a trap! You try to kill us! Guards!
Shut up, Ron. You're still alive, aren't you?
It appears that poor Imogen is the only one injured.
Well, the security guard.
I'm sorry. She's dead.
I knew it! You tried to kill me! All of you!
Calm down, Ron. You don't know who was behind this.
Actually, he has a point. All those who knew about this meeting are in this room.
Except, of course, for Charlie.
He only joined us at the last moment. Dr. Regis, will you lend us your skill as an investigator?
Yeah, you find who tried to kill me!
Do this for us, Charlie, and we'll give you everything. We can tell you who has your kids and exactly where he is.
Fine. Just remember, I'm not doing this for your sake.
Yep,
Someone
do it
here
for our
almost
kids,
killed
baby.
me as well.
Thank you anyway, Charlie.
Alright, new case. Blood's apparently spared her expensive engineered beauty, though not her life. You wonder if this detail might have been some comfort to her. You can't find anything on her body that isn't an item of fashion. You wonder if this counts as a corpse, being a machine who technically wasn't alive to begin with.
Nothing on it I can use. I'm not exactly equipped to repair synthetics. Nina.
Charlie, how can I help?
I've started
Okay.
my investigation.
It sounds like we've got the right man for the job. I remember when you were
I
so
started it.
nervous, but now look at you.
It's been a long time. People change.
Even so, my mental image of you is sitting at a DNA sequencer. Perhaps a restaurant would let you use theirs.
Why would a restaurant need a sequencer?
It helps with their rather niche menu.
Don't you think we should move out? Cell aren't going to ignore a blast like that.
For a harmless little kitchen fire, they won't come.
Kitchen fire? What do you...
They won't send anyone. It's all under control here. We've enough wheels greased at Cell to make sure there's an understanding.
Okay.
Oh, lighten up, Charlie. This is helping you. You can go on a mole hunt at Cell once your children are safe.
Can you think of anyone who'd want to do this? Why recruit a suicide bomber? For this?
Frankly, the main reason I can think of to hire someone for a job like this, hypothetically speaking, of course,
Stop 'em.
would be if one were unable to carry it out oneself.
Can you think of a likely saboteur?
I have my suspicions, but we depend on you for the truth.
I guess I should thank you for not giving them the full picture.
What? That you might have been the one who made that poor young man? Think nothing of it, Charlie. That's what friends are there for. I hear you handled another one last night.
They're getting more and more frequent.
They're nearing their expiry date, literally. I know they weren't engineered for long lives, just volatility. Their masters have to make use of them before illness diffuses them.
That's all.
Keep me informed, Charlie.
Mr.
Right.
Stepford, can I have a moment?
Oh my, yes.
Oh my.
I've started my investigation of the bombing.
Oh my, yes? I can assure you I had no part in this terrible tragedy.
I hear that a lot.
In fact, my core programming prevents me from harming a human being.
Of course.
A synthetic. I guess you'd be the only one leaving lubricant oil instead of DNA evidence.
Oh my, no, Dr. Regis. My outer dermis is organic tissue. It's top of the line, patterned from my creator, Dr. Arthur Stepford.
Huh. I've been learning a lot about synths these past few days. So, you have DNA?
Indeed, it's delightful skin, don't you think?
Sure.
I go to great pains to keep it moisturized.
You're the one who found my embryos?
Oh my, yes.
Where are they?
Dr. Regis, while it pains me to say this, we simply can't tell you. Then we would have no bargaining
What a
position.
dick.
You lousy piece of...
Please, Dr. Regis, be assured that they are in no danger at this time. Dr. Zhong is the one with whom you must discuss the release of the information. I have been asked not to speak any more of this matter. Oh my, no.
Oh my, no.
Could the guards have arranged the bombing? They're obviously synthetics, but I imagine they're more comfortable with hurting people.
They would not be worth much as protection otherwise, oh my, no. But each security platform maintains a constant connection to my own systems. Their degree of independence is limited.
So if one of them were responsible, I'd have to consider you complicit.
Oh my, yes.
Were you aware that this establishment serves human meat?
Oh my, yes. It's delightfully macabre, isn't it? I'm sure the experience would be enhanced by being able to eat, of course.
You don't eat?
Some models can simulate digestion, but this platform is unable to. Go on, Dr. Regis. Try something for me.
I'll pass. I'll
Yeah.
get back to you.
Oh my, yes.
Mr. Ron,
What you want?
I've started my investigation.
You find who tried to kill me.
Who tried to kill all of us, Mr. Ron?
This city dangerous. Police do lousy job.
Can you recall anything suspicious?
No, stop asking stupid questions.
What a dick.
Probably a stupid question, but did you know what they serve here?
Of course, it's people.
The idea of eating human meat appeals to you?
Absolutely. Is why I like to come to Newton. You have some crazy laws, but almost nowhere else will allow things like this.
It's cloned meat, apparently, so technically no harm done. That's the legal foundation.
A shame. Would rather eat real human. Ultimate sign of control of people.
No.
Eat the poor.
Exactly. That will teach them.
I'll get back to you.
Stop wasting my time.
Man, fuck that guy.
Dr. Regis, how can I help?
I've begun my investigation into the bombing.
If anyone can resolve this, it's you, Dr. Regis.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Counselor. I don't know how much closer I am to figuring out who's behind it, though.
Because of the pool of suspects, it might be better to think about exclusion. Perhaps you can find evidence to rule out those not involved.
Counselor,
Okay.
were you aware that this restaurant serves human meat?
Indeed. It's quite distasteful, don't you think? Still, I suppose it's a matter of personal taste since nobody's been hurt. We must respect the freedoms allowed by the laws of this city.
You're not having any, then?
Oh no, but I shan't judge anyone for it.
Oh, I'm
They're quite
judging.
whimsical about it in some ways. I heard good things about their Billy con carne.
Ugh. I'll get back to you, Counselor.
Anything I can do to help, Dr. Regis?
Cooler? What's in the cooler? The bottles in the cooler are no more than a mess of glass shards and spilled liquor. Did we take any? Age 16 months. Let's go downstairs.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Did you see the bomber when he came in?
Negative. His appearance was a match for a member of the serving staff.
And you call yourself a bodyguard?
It is likely that the suspect prepared this operation in advance. To achieve this, he would have to supplant a member of staff before our arrival.
Question is, where did he hide the waiter he replaced? Are you all right? That was quite a blast.
Systems operating at 97%.
I see. You synthetics give me the creeps, you know that? Huh. Guess you're not easily riled up. Keep up the good work.
An aquarium now cracked from the blast. Several luminous fish orbit each other, reminding you of one of the training projects when training as an engineer. A label sits beneath the tank. Please do not touch the glass. These specimens are aggressive and startle easy. These fish are not a menu item.
Ow! Hey!
Attempt to grab one of the fish with your bare hands was unsuccessful. Apparently, the creatures have a taste for your flesh, and they have less tooth marks to prove it. These double doors lead to the kitchen. Like many places in the city, the restaurant has a unisex bathroom, a concept you'll never quite come to terms with. Small cabinet, no doubt, for storing cleaning supplies when not in use. This is probably the sort of place that does it by hand.
There's the remains of a first aid kit in here. Someone's used all of the med patches and pseudoderm spray. Must have had an injury. The only item left is a bottle of harsh-smelling toilet cleaner.
Okay.
Apparently, this mirror is having
We'll take
a
that
software
toilet cleaner.
error. Huh. Before I came to Newton, that sentence wouldn't have made any sense to me. Apparently, this mirror is having a Huh.
Hygiene is important, especially around food. Toilet stalls are equipped with smart privacy screens. The lack of doors still bothers you somehow, though. Hey, we got some tissue paper. Clean piece of tissue taken from the bathroom. It feels sort of expensive. Soft and inexpensive, leading you to wonder if perhaps it was grown from a real plant rather than recycled.
A powerful combination of bleach, enzymes, and antimicrobial wetware designed to kill bacteria in plumbing. It makes a lot of scientific-sounding claims on the label. Smells vaguely of lemon before the aftertaste of chlorine hits.
Then come the air ducts. Its crooked placement uniquely jarring amongst the otherwise ordered bathroom.
It's already been opened.
The vent leads into the circulation system for this floor. Well, let's go check it out.
I can't see a damn thing in here.
Maybe we should call Lau.
Lau, you there?
Regis, I heard a blast. Is everything all right?
A bomber. Someone targeted this get-together.
Want me to call it in? Maybe now is when we should get Central involved.
No, I've got it covered for the time being. If Central asks, you know nothing.
Got it.
Okay.
It feels like the cover to the outside vent, but I can't see a thing.
We even contemplate making an escape through the roof access, but then you lose your best lead. Oh my, yes.
Hello? Huh. It's like someone just hit his off switch.
With its precision tools and hygiene masks, it's almost unclear whether he's a surgeon or a chef.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Regis.
There's just
Nina's
bodies
asked me
hanging
to
by
investigate
us.
the explosion.
A cell agent? Well, all right. Just be careful what you touch. This place is half kitchen, half lab.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
There are human bodies in your kitchen.
Yes, there are. It's a freezer. What are you, the food inspector?
Give me a good reason I shouldn't haul your ass down to cell.
It's all legal, I guarantee. They're annual clones, grown without brain tissue.
I know what it means. I guess the presentation was a shock.
Right?
Why is this restaurant serving cloned human tissue?
I trained in engineering at Darwin. We'd flash grow human bodies to test DNA alterations. So I guess human tissue is what I'm most familiar with.
You're a
engineer.
Well, I dropped out before my PhD. I learned enough to sample DNA and use it to grow flash clones.
No kidding. My background's in engineering as well. You altered these bodies?
None of these. They're all template. Caucasian, male, 20s, brown hair.
It's quite
This
a
is
setup you
quite
got
the
here.
setup you've got. Combined sampler growth chamber?
That's right. We usually use the template. Sometimes get specialist orders, though.
Like if someone wants to eat themselves?
Sometimes. We can ready up a new cadaver in about a week with it.
I can't
That's weird.
access cell at the moment. I might need to use your equipment.
Do you have to? You know you'd have to flush the current growth.
Sorry about that. Tell you what, Nina will reimburse you.
Well, okay.
Going from engineering to catering, that's quite a switch.
Most of my family are cooks. They run a restaurant in Vietnam. When I was at med school, someone found out about my family, dared me to make something out of human muscle tissue.
And?
And it turned out my human bolognese was really, really good. Not just being immodest or anything.
You said you dropped out. Is that why?
Yeah, turns out the academy had regulations about improper disposal of remains. But now I had an idea, and I knew there'd be a market for it somewhere. My family are great chefs, and I can make human bodies. Bingo.
A suicide bomber attacked the gathering upstairs. He was disguised as one of your waiters.
Whoa, I wondered what that was. What did he look like?
Blonde, about 1.65 meters, might have looked uncomfortable or limping.
Huh. Biobomber?
That's right. How did you guess?
You mentioned the limp. They've got pretty serious health problems, don't they?
Yeah, he might have replaced one of your staff.
Huh. They all checked in.
If he incapacitated one of your staff, can you think of where they'd do that?
It'd have to be somewhere you could hide a body, I guess.
A suicide bomber. He was disguised as
Whoa. What did he look like?
blonde. That
You huh.
if he
It'd have...
Oh, we
did a
didn't
lot
check
of
both
clandestine
bathroom
meetings
stalls.
like this taking place.
You'd be surprised. This place is popular with the wealthy. Haven't had an assassination before, though.
You know what they're discussing up there.
They don't tell me, and I don't ask about anything but their orders. Dr. Zhang pays me enough to know I probably shouldn't.
What's with the bouncer?
He came with Mr. Stepford's party, along with a few others. I think he was supposed to be guarding the kitchen, but...
What happened?
Well, he wasn't very talkative, but after I started working, he just kind of zoned out. Couldn't get an answer out of him.
I like the glowing fish in the tank you've got.
Thanks. I made those myself. They were my first gengineering project.
Luciferin luciferase from fireflies.
Well spotted. I imported the sequence into red snappers and kept them viable. 10 generations now.
A lot of academies use those as a starter project, but that's impressive.
We keep them as a reminder of where we came from, or in case the power goes out.
I like the glowing fish.
Thanks. What?
A lot.
Or
The sequencer's a different model to my usual.
Cell's probably got something more impressive than that thing. You have to purge the current project before you can do anything. Then you can submit genetic material to start a new growth project.
What kind of material will it take?
Blood, dermal tissue, almost anything. Makes it easier to get a sample from customers.
What's your advice for cooking human meat?
Planning on going into competition with me? Well, you know how they say everything tastes like chicken? It's actually better if you treat human tissue like pork.
Like pork?
Yeah. Sausages, slices, filet. There's a lot you can do with it.
This is
It's restaurants like this that make me glad everyone in this city just uses auto meals these days.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. It's not harming anyone after all.
Something about it still doesn't feel right.
You probably don't feel nearly so angry talking to me as those auto mill personalities, right?
You have a point. Thanks.
Whatever I can do to help.
Alright, I think we're going to continue the investigation next time, y'all. Drop a like if you haven't already. Drop us up if you're new. I'm out.